What's up, everyone? Welcome into Fantasy Football Office Hours presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, Josh. What's up, Josh?
I'm always here.
You're always here.
Good energy because the Ravens and Veterans Day. Hey.
And OBJ to the Rams. Man, that was a really, that 15 minutes in between the two streams was like the Michael Scott vasectomy scene. Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. Like OBJ going to the Rams. Wait, no, he's not. Maybe it's the Packers. And then yet again, I see now Kim Jones, one of the people saying he was still deciding, tweeting out that OBJ just texted them Rams. So I think it's official. He's going to the Rams. Kev, what's up? Bird up. Welcome in. And we've got a question to start off the show from JR. Welcome in, JR. And I love your Guillotine League questions. I always look forward to you coming in with the pickups and the starts because, you know what? I'm not in any Guillotine Leagues this year, and that was a mistake. Next year, two things.
Let's make it happen, Simon.
I'm cutting down on leagues. I'm in too many this year. I'm cutting way down, but I want one of them to be a Guillotine League because that sounds like a lot of fun. And there's a very good
5 dynasty leagues that aren't very active, and they're like $20 buy-ins that it might be time. I'll talk to the league. I don't want to leave anyone hanging high and dry, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So Guillotine Leagues is a little bit too many.
Guillotine League PPR, I need 3 for the flex. Elijah Mitchell, Myles Gaskin, Michael Pittman, Mike Williams, Kyle Pitts, or TJ Hawkinson. This one's...
Is this a this week question?
I think it's this week.
Okay, cool.
For me, it's Pittman, Mitchell, Pitts. You could argue Hawk up there instead, but I'm probably going Mitchell, Pittman, Pitts.
I would go with Mitchell and Pittman 100%.
For sure, right?
Actually, the question really comes in between Mike Williams and Kyle Pitts for me, to be honest with you.
Man, you know what? You're right. I do think Mike Williams has a great game this week.
I'm going to go with Mike Williams here, personally.
Okay, I'll stay on the Pitts side. I'll stay Mitchell, Pittman, Pitts, but it is very close between Williams and Pitts. Mitchell and Pittman are locked in for me, though. Those two jumped out immediately.
Me too.
We got Jared in here. Yep. What's up? What's up, Jared? Welcome into Office Hours. And Ryan says, what's up, guys? Jacobs and Thielen for Diggs. So for some more context, at running back, I have CMC and Swift. At wide receiver, I have Debo and Cooks, Allen at quarterback. So Josh Jacobs and Adam Thielen for Stephon Diggs.
I think the valuation is fair. I would much prefer to have Diggs in my lineup over Thielen, but I think Josh Jacobs might be a little bit too much. I know you're saying you have CMC and Swift, which are lock and loaded starters every week above Josh Jacobs, but Josh Jacobs, again, I could see you needing Josh Jacobs going forward in the season. Even as a flex play, Josh Jacobs is a great flex play. So you're not giving us, the entire roster, obviously. I think I'm probably holding tight.
I'm fine with it, but I am nervous. I would like to know who your third running back is outside of CMC and Swift if you trade Jacobs, because that's going to be the differentiator there. But I'm all about consolidating. I would rather have Diggs than either of those other two pieces. I'd probably make this trade, Ryan. It would make me nervous, though, at running back because one injury and you could just be screwed.
We're on different sides of the card there. How about this, Simon? For me, I'd personally be trying to go after that top tier in this trade. Just wanted to throw out that
Jacobs plus Thielen, you would be going higher than Diggs.
I'd be trying to get maybe Justin Jefferson, even maybe. I know that's the same team as Thielen, but I prefer Justin Jefferson over Diggs the rest of the season.
I don't hate that. I'm trying to think of other names that maybe you could go for instead. Well, maybe
Tyreek Hill might be a little too high. Diggs and Deontay Johnson are like the same for me the rest of the season. I'm fine with the trade, like I said.
AJ Brown?
Your running back, that makes me real nervous afterwards. Yeah, AJ Brown and Diggs are like the same too. I'd actually rather have Diggs.
Okay. EJ says Devonta Freeman, JD McKissick, or Devonta Smith PPR. Josh, where are you going on this one?
It's a PPR league. Devonta Smith is questionable, but if he's playing, it's definitely Devonta Smith for me. And I'm assuming we're just talking about this week. Regardless, it's Devonta Smith.
Yeah, if Devonta Smith plays, it's Devonta Smith. Who would be the next guy up for you, McKissick or Freeman?
It's a PPR league. It's probably JD McKissick. It's JD McKissick.
Yeah, I think Freeman is startable, but with McKissick, I would go McKissick as well. We agreed on that one, disagreed on the one before.
Hey, let's go.
B King says start 3, Diggs, Jefferson, Lamb, or Pittman. So really, you're just benching one. I'm benching Lamb out of these 4 receivers.
Diggs, Jefferson, Lamb, or Pittman? Who are we benching? Oh no, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one, but
I guess I'll.
you got four potential top 12 wide receivers this week, B Kings. But I'm benching Lamb.
The funny thing is, it's either Lamb or Diggs. I guess I'll say Lamb just because he seems to have a little bit of a lower floor than everyone else.
Brian wants to know, what do you think about Robbie Anderson and he's at asterisk DJ Moore? So Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore with Cam Newton back. It doesn't affect how I feel about DJ Moore too much. Cam as a passer, last time we saw him played wasn't fantastic, but good enough. I expect similar production for DJ Moore. Robbie Anderson, though, it could be interesting for Robbie Anderson. It could take him from almost no value to some value in this Carolina offense. Josh, do you agree with that?
I completely agree. So for DJ Moore, I don't think it changes a ton. It slightly raises him in my mind because Sam Darnold was playing so horrifically bad lately. But Robbie Anderson, this changes a lot. Like you said, he had really no value, at least the last few weeks with Sam Darnold, but he was getting so many targets in the middle and the beginning of the season. Last couple of weeks were bad, but now this gives you some hope that Cam Newton and him can develop a connection. So Robbie Anderson's stock is absolutely up. It can't get much lower. DJ Moore's is about the same, maybe a little bit higher.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Carlos said with Claypool and Najee both questionable for this week, Muth becomes a clear must start. Yes. Did you put Muth in the must start category?
I'm not going to put him in the must start category. He's been fantastic since Juju Smith-Schuster has been out of the lineup. He's getting those targets. And you're right. With Claypool, he's probably not going to play. Is Najee actually questionable? That's kind of news to me, more or less, to be honest with you. Yeah, he's limited in practice on Thursday. Limited at practice.
He's going to play.
I do expect Najee to play. Is he a must start? No. Because there's few must starts at tight end, in my opinion. Are you probably starting him? Is he a very good start? Yes.
Yeah, he's a very good start. Yeah, I think if you've got Kelsey, Waller, Kittle, you're not starting them. Pitts, Hawk, but outside of that,
yeah, all those guys,
Andrews,
those top six guys. There's six guys that you're starting ahead of him, which is why he's not a must start.
Yep. Jake said, my friend asked me, he has Kupp and Aaron Jones. Should he trade for Diggs and Chubb or Saquon and Devonta Adams? I just want to say to everybody, do not panic if you're the Kupp owner with Odell Beckham Jr. coming. I don't think Odell Beckham Jr. affects Cooper Kupp too much, so don't rush and try to sell Kupp because of that news.
Don't make this trade. It's not unfair. Yeah,
I was going to say we can look at this trade outside of that and see if we think it's fair. Diggs and Chubb, not enough for me. That's a downgrade from Kupp to Diggs. Saquon and Devonta Adams is a little bit closer in my mind. That's not a bad trade. Who would you prefer rest of the season, Saquon or Aaron Jones?
Absolutely, Aaron Jones. I was actually working on my running back tiers earlier, as you might know, and Saquon actually fell in a tier below Aaron Jones, and that's simply because of the offense he's in and the injury concerns. And even when he was playing, he is actually averaging quite a few less points per game than you would expect. I think it was about 12.5 points per game, which was significantly lower than the other top 20 running backs.
Yeah.
So when it comes out, when we're breaking this down,
trades.
Absolutely Kupp over Diggs for me, even with this Odell Beckham news. I'm probably still leaning Kupp over Adams, but they're relatively the same.
So we can just say equals.
Exactly. Aaron Jones, about equal to Chubb, but I'd rather have Aaron Jones and Chubb over Saquon, so I'm probably not making this trade.
Me neither. I agree with you, Josh. Great job breaking that one down. Also, Carlos saying Rams just posted the official welcome to Odell. OBJ to the Rams. Yeah, it looks official.
Yes, sir.
And Ryan letting us know that he did have Chuba, so that mitigate some of the injury concern with Christian McCaffrey when he was making that Josh Jacobs trade for Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
The Jacobs was stealing. So that definitely does help. That pushes me more in the direction of wanting the Diggs side, Ryan. I agree with that. Brian wants to know
what? Trading makes fantasy fun, Ryan. Go for it. Go for it. What size league is this, by the way, Ryan? Ryan, I'm just realizing. So, Ryan, what size is this? A smaller size league? Because if this is a 8-man league, for instance, then yes, sir, I am doing that trade because I want the best player in the trade. So, yes.
Albert said, if Godwin is out, do I start Waddle, Devonta Smith, or Jerry Jeudy full PPR? So you've got a tricky one there with Waddle, right? Because my answer would probably be Jalen Waddle, but he plays tonight. So you would have to make that decision tonight without knowing for sure if Godwin is out. Josh, do you expect Godwin to be out this week?
I'm getting nervous for Godwin. I'm more and more leaning to the side that Godwin will be out. However, if this is just a slight injury and he ends up practicing tomorrow on Friday, I do want to start Godwin over all these guys easily. So you're right, Simon. It's a tricky situation. I'm probably going to just wait until Sunday because Devonta Smith is close, and both Devonta Smith and Jerry Jeudy are close enough to Waddle where I could see them having similar type games. I would prefer Waddle over the other options, though. It's a tough situation. I'd probably hold out and wait to see if Godwin's playing.
And then you would start Jerry Jeudy if Godwin didn't play. Is that what you said?
I lean Devonta Smith over Jerry Jeudy if he's healthy, but Jerry Jeudy, they're in the same tier. You know, Jerry Jeudy and Devonta Smith are around the same.
Yeah. I would start Jeudy. Like my preference is Waddle, but I'm with you. I think I'm holding out, not plugging him in on Thursday night. Godwin's by far the preferred start out of this group. And from Waddle to Jerry Jeudy, in my mind, isn't that big of a drop off. Charlie wants to know Jacobs or Waddle PPR.
Jacobs.
You're going Jacobs here, Josh? How come?
Yeah, it's close, but I think Jacobs is going to have a good game this week. I actually do.
Yeah, this one's close for me.
It's a PPR, so Jalen Waddle, he's getting those catches. But again, I said this during our last stream. Marlon Humphrey is the Ravens' best cornerback. Jalen Waddle is obviously the best receiving option for the Dolphins. I could see Marlon Humphrey following Waddle, and Marlon Humphrey is a elite cornerback in the NFL. I think Waddle's going to have a fine game. He's going to have a good game. He's going to get a lot of catches. They're probably going to be down and need to throw the ball. So I lean Jacobs.
Man, I think I lean Waddle, but the Thursday night with the Marlon Humphrey does scare me a little bit. This is a super close one. Jacobs is probably safer of the two, but I'll lean Waddle on this one. Also, Matt, I checked the DM. You got something in there waiting for you, and we might have another opinion joining us in a second.
Okay, now let's
Ryan
go.
also let us know it was a 12-man league, so not an 8-man league like we had hypothesized there, Josh, but
So in a 12-man league, it makes it a lot more close. What was it? Adam Thielen and Josh Jacobs for Stephon Diggs again, just reminding myself.
And he's got Chuba Hubbard.
I told you trading makes fantasy fun. Make the trade. Have a good time. I like it, man. It makes your starting lineup better.
It does. It does. Also, Chosen Rose, OBJ to the Rams wants to know, does this hurt Robert Woods?
A little bit.
Yeah, I don't expect this to hurt Kupp. I do expect it to hurt Woods, and my 2021 love affair with Van Jefferson appears as though it's coming to an end. I can stop recommending him to people and having him fail on me. So I'm very sad about Van Jefferson.
Matt,
what's up,
think,
Matt? Guys,
What's
Matt is joining us for some office hours in place of JL to help answer some of your questions right here. And we're going to jump straight into it, Matt, with this one. The Chosen Rose wants to know if OBJ to the Rams hurts Robert Woods. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, this is why I should want to pop on, because I saw a lot of people like excluding like parts of the Rams offense. If it's even a target or more per game, like if it's going to hit all of them, I think. Now, obviously Van Jefferson, right? Van Jefferson's season, I think, is over. I don't even know when it began, because this is a guy who was like wide receiver like 40 at best or so. But even
he was getting the targets, you know.
Oh, for sure.
Even a little decrease in those, it's significant.
And that's what I was looking at. I was like, I need to talk about this, because first of all, I didn't see any JL. I was like, there's two buys.
Yes,
I gotta show.
I'm glad you reached out, man.
Yeah. Trust me, I love it. So Kupp, right? Kupp was the one in specific I think gets hit the least. But Woods, we finally get like the resurgence. So even having any step back is annoying. I think it affects a few things. I think Higbee gets on the field a little bit less. For sure. Yeah. I think if I immediately see someone, it's Jefferson and Higbee. They might not even like run this person. They might run like just one running back set, might not even Higbee on the field, just have these guys out or just throw them out there. What are they going to do? But man, this is annoying for fantasy, because if he went to Green Bay, right? Because technically, is it official? Like in the tense?
I think we went back and forth like 4 different times, but I think it's official.
Took it down, and I think they posted it again. Welcome to the Rams. So I believe that's as official as it gets, right? The second edition.
So if you went to the Packers, you can just eliminate all the nonsense. MVS, Lazard, all those guys. Cool.
It would have been so easy for fantasy. That would have been so easy for fantasy, right? And then they had to go and ruin it.
Even the Saints, like, you know, like whatever. No Marcus Callaway.
Is he eligible to play this week?
Probably not.
Okay.
I'm not ranking him right now. I wouldn't expect him to go out and play. because we've seen with other players get traded that they have to go through, because with COVID right now, we have to go through all the protocols, make sure everything's cool. So like Cam's not playing this week, but a quarterback, you need to learn the whole system. Yada, yada, yada. So Tampa Bay, I don't know if you guys have brought it up, but Tampa Bay is my easiest comparison for these guys, right? So when I look at the Rams,
that makes sense.
Week to week, when Antonio Brown was healthy, you didn't know which of the three was going to be the best player for them. And I like to think preseason Cooper Kupp in terms of talent, we thought was around what we could have from, Woods and both of the major Tampa Bay guys. Now, obviously, Antonio Brown being what he was for the first month and a half was awesome. But I will look at this team, I'd still say Kupp is the alpha, but we saw just confusion with who would have the best weeks out of Tampa Bay. Can we have that here in LA? Because we can have a situation that, I've seen a few touchdowns here where Kupp is like, there's no one around it for like 10 yards.
Yeah.
So what do you guys feel about that Tampa Bay comparison? Because that was the easiest one I can think about.
I think it checks out. It's three talented wide receivers and a pass-heavy offense.
I got one better for you, though.
Let's hear it.
The Rams, like 2 or 3 years ago, when they had Brandon Cooks.
Odell
Beckham is the Brandon Cooks now, and Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, they're about the same. So I think they're still all going to have roles, right? I think you're correct. I think Cooper Kupp is the least affected by this. He's still a top 5 locked and loaded wide receiver for me the rest of the season. That connection is real between him and Stafford. Woods, like you said, is going to lose targets, I think, a couple a game, which is significant. So it hurts him. Is he still a startable receiver? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Odell Beckham is still I'm still worried about his production from a fantasy perspective, but he's going to probably have a blowout game here and there.
I think it's going to be inconsistent, but it'll probably be better than what we saw with him on the Browns. I think this is an upgrade for him fantasy-wise. So if you held on to him through the news, you were probably pretty happy. If you picked him up, you're probably pretty happy. Guys, I want to make sure we're answering these other questions while people are in here. We will surely talk more about the OBJ news throughout this show. I'm sure we'll get more questions on it. But B Kings here says rest of season value in standard. So which one of these guys would you prefer? Let's each pick one. Jefferson, Diggs, Lamb, or Pittman. Who is your preferred wide receiver rest of season in a non-PPR league? Matt, what do you think here?
Without looking at the actual information in front of me, it might be Diggs because he's not getting a dramatic amount of work to this point. We've seen probably the worst version of Stephon Diggs through 9-10 weeks of the NFL season. I'd like to say that with the quarterback play, who we saw last year, it was a QB1 wide receiver 1 connection, unlike anything else. Diggs, for me, like I said, if you're looking at a player who can really bounce back and be a better spot from where they are right now, because Jefferson, I know they just came out saying he's going to get more work. You still have Thielen on the other side who steals, red zone looks, which is very important. Adam Thielen only really scores touchdowns. Diggs, for my purpose, he's getting the yards, but not getting the scores. You can have the positive outlook for the rest of the season where we're not getting right now.
Josh, quick trivia. Do you know who currently in a standard league has the most fantasy points on the season so far out of these 4 receivers?
In a standard league, who has the most fantasy points out of these receivers? It's probably Michael Pittman.
It is Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman is the 9th wide receiver in standard scoring now. But that being said, that's not to say he's the right answer here. What is which of these receivers would you value highest rest of the season?
I'd lean Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson. Yep. If I had to choose one. But if I had to rank them, maybe Justin Jefferson, Diggs, Lamb, and Pittman. Even though Pittman,
poor Pittman.
Justin Jefferson, Diggs, a little bit of a break, Lamb and Pittman.
I'm right there with you. It's Diggs, Justin Jefferson, a little bit of a break, Lamb, Pittman. But I'm with you guys. I would go on the Diggs side rest of the season, but it is very close between these receivers. Justin wants to know, what is Stafford's status? Do we have any update on Matthew Stafford? Josh, do you know?
No, I know he got a little bit banged up in the last game, but I think he's expected to play. Let's see what we got here. He's expected to play. He's been practicing, I believe.
And then Justin set a line for us as Gaskin over or under 40.5 rushing yards. Matt, what do you think about that tonight?
So he had 20 carries, I believe, in the last game and got like 34. So over the last 2 games, he has 41 touches, 112 yards, which is 12.7 yards per touch. That's really bad. And
so is it?
The real problem is that, like, you look at it, we want a lot of work. We want a ton of touches, but you have to do literally anything with it, which he isn't doing. I go under. I think he gets like maybe 65 total yards in the game, which is right in line with what he's doing with his current workload. You're hoping he scores. I don't like this Dolphins side tonight.
Justin Jefferson.
I
did it.
Yeah, I'll take the under on that one as well. Josh, are you taking the under?
If it was total yards, I'd take the over. But rushing yards, I feel like you almost have to take the under. He's only broken it. Well, he's broken it 3 times.
Scott Fish has the status update for us on Matthew Stafford. Stafford's status, very happy with the Odell Beckham Jr. news. He is very, very happy about getting that.
Just not being on the Lions anymore. He's very happy.
Yeah, he really lucked out, man. Like he got it all in LA now.
Seriously, man.
Oyo wants to know Justin Tucker or Matt Prater.
Tucker.
You're gonna bench the
every
GOAT.
week start.
Come on, I don't know about kickers, but I know you leave Justin Tucker in every week. Matt, are you going with your fellow Matt, or are you keeping the GOAT in?
Justin Tucker, fun fact, is my favorite player in the NFL. So he's going to be my pick.
He went to my girlfriend's high school, and she didn't tell me that. I found out during a Ravens game. Like, how the hell are we going to be dating for 4 years? I work in fantasy sports, and you don't tell me that one of the greatest NFL players of all time went to your high school. That's just rude.
One of the
if you're watching right
NFL
now, I still hold that grudge.
That's awesome to hear.
I mean, dominant at his position.
Yeah,
right?
he is. The longest field goal of all time, the most accurate kicker of all time. Yeah.
It's Justin Tucker. Also, side note, I see more questions in here. Have you guys watched any of the San Diego State punter highlight tapes from this season?
No.
If you are into kickers,
not particularly, no.
Go watch it. Everyone watching this, go watch it. This dude has hit 80-yard punts in multiple games this season, back-to-back games. He's got the longest streak of 60-yard punts in a game of any player in NCAA history. He is insane. If he keeps this up full season, he's going to be a second to fourth round pick, and some team's going to take that jump on him because it's bonkers watching.
Sounds like the Raiders
been doing. It does sound like a Raiders pick.
I love that.
Let's see. We had a question here. Justin said Waddle over or under 61.5 receiving yards. So I know Josh and I were saying we were pretty excited about Waddle tonight, but that's a decent line. Josh, are you taking the over or under on that?
It's honestly a really good line. When it comes down to it, I'm nervous about Marlon Humphrey following him. I'll take the under if I had to choose.
Matt, what about you?
I think a slight over. I think he's the only Dolphin. Gesicki by default because of the position, but Waddle I think is fine. He's my probably third favorite receiver in this game though, because I'm pretty high on Bateman. So.
Wow, really? You would start Bateman over Waddle?
Yes, I am extremely high on Bateman.
So. I would still start Waddle over Bateman. I love Bateman, but I'm Waddle over Bateman.
Scott knows about the punter. He said that punter is insane. I was watching those while in France. He's internationally acclaimed punter.
Can we go back to that one trade question? Because I know we just had some trouble. I ended up switching my side. It was the Ryan Hayes, the Stephon Diggs. He was giving up,
Thielen for Diggs.
Yeah. How do you feel about this, Matt? I wanted to get your opinion.
Jacobs and Thielen for Diggs. Do we know the scoring system?
No, it's a 12 team. That's really all we know.
So I think he's fine at running because the problem with Josh Jacobs is like I was one of the most proponents on not liking him this year. I do like that they're getting Kenyon Drake involved because we need more running backs. But Jacobs has had he hasn't had any blow up games. He hasn't had like a 20-point performance. He's like a 12 to 16 point. Yeah, which is good. We like this, which is very good. I think Diggs, if you're looking for, you have to have one guy because he's not going to be starting Jacobs in this, this allotment. He's going to just start McCaffrey and Swift, right? So I think that's good. I'd rather have Diggs here. I usually like to get the best player in the deal, which to me is Diggs. It's also it's a problem because these are two of the players I don't like from the preseason, like at all. Jacobs and Thielen, because those were guys last year, 10, 12 touchdowns. They were the easiest to say they're going to regress. Depends what you think of Thielen, because I'm still thinking that he's not very good.
He's good at scoring touchdowns.
He's amazing at scoring touchdowns. But when I saw the Baltimore game that just happened, where it's like, okay, he comes out with 8 points because of
he had 2 catches.
Yeah, 2 catches, a total of 20 yards. I'd rather get Diggs. I understand how bad Diggs is, and I think it's just you're really trying to get the upside because we're going towards the playoffs, and you really want to have the real big punches so you can win that championship.
I'm right there with you. You kind of fell in line with what we were saying there. I know Josh was on the other side first.
Originally, I was on the other side. I switched.
I said first. I said first.
Yeah.
Justin wants to know Eno Benjamin or Brandon Bolden to pick up this week. Josh, which of those would you prefer to pick
Brandon
up?
Bolden. I'd rather start him at this moment.
Can I say Mark Ingram?
Oh, like pick him up now.
Mark
pick
Ingram.
up Mark Ingram. But,
I literally picked Mark Ingram up during our last stream.
Because I don't think Kamara's going. And the issue is that we're probably going to be in the same situation with the Cardinals because you guys were on and it probably broke right when you were on this. It doesn't look like Murray and Hopkins are in real risk to not be playing again this week.
Really?
So it looks like there might just need just offense out of Arizona. I do not like that New England game at all. Just that New England Cleveland game looks like a game that might have a combined score of like under 24. I really dislike it. So for me, I would lean Benjamin. The Browns are a very strong run defense, and that game looks like it's going to be real booty.
Bam in here says so. I'm not happy. November 28th, we are going for blood. Bam is a Packers fan. Hasn't left the date of the Packers-Rams game there. He's pissed. Watch out. We had some more questions in here. Bam had a question for us as well. Flex 2, Renfro, Carson if he plays, Fant, Knox, Moss if he plays. So we had some similar questions on the last show. I'm going Renfro, Fant is where I'm going here.
Renfro for sure. Renfro's been great.
Renfro for sure.
Wow, the rest of it is not particularly exciting. I don't particularly like Moss that much. I'd rather I want that game him to be out just so we can have Singletary as an option because I'm thinking of the fantasy world at large. I'm sorry, Bam. Knox is the next best guy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's because Carson, I really want to see it because we went from like a 2-week stretch of, he's not playing again this year to, he's going to be back and he's going to play football. And neck issue doesn't sound like something I'd like to mess around with.
I'm staying away.
Yeah, Matt, I said the same exact thing in our previous stream. Actually, like literally, I was like, Chris Carson scares the hell out of me. I can't imagine starting him this first week. I am very nervous. I would personally go Renfro and Knox.
Before we answer the next question, Scott, I watched the progression here in thought process. He said, "Yikes! Waddle has only had that many yards 3 times this year." This was in reference to over under 61.5 yards. And then he said, actually, Brissett targets the crap out of Waddle. I'm in. Scott's in on that one.
Is Tua been ruled out? Do we know?
No, it is.
He hasn't been ruled out yet.
I think it's questionable.
It's not looking good for Tua.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm assuming this is Dalvin Cook, not Brandon Cooks. Otherwise, this trade doesn't make too much sense. But we're going to assume Dalvin Cook here so that it makes some sense. Brandon Cooks.
Do it now.
If it's Brandon Cooks, make this trade immediately for Terry and Saquon. If it is not Brandon Cooks, if it's Dalvin Cook, are you guys making this trade for Terry McLaurin and Saquon Barkley, Matt?
No, the weird thing about Cook's Dalvin Cook is this team is very bad at rushing work. So he's only scored, I think, 4 rushing touchdowns, something like that. It's only come in two times in 2 game blocks, right? So his ceiling, if you're comparing him to like Jonathan Taylor and Austin Eckler and all like the real big dogs of the league, it's a different story. Because I don't think he's had that ceiling the other players have towards the top.
Are you talking about Dalvin Cook?
Dalvin Cook, yeah.
Dalvin Cook his points per game are kind of horrific. Like that's not even like a top like 15 points per game. I think it's like 20th in the league in points per game, which is crazy.
Yeah, I'm not like if you're comparing him to other guys, sure, but I'd still prefer him to Saquon Barkley and McLaurin, just on a. Because it's again, I like to get the best player in the deal, and for me, still right here, it's Dalvin Cook. McLaurin is really annoying because you have those 25-point games because Heineke tosses it up there. But if Heineke remains his quarterback, I believe he's only had like 1 passing touchdown in like the last 3 or 4 games. They're not getting a lot of offensive production through the air. It could change this weekend at Tampa Bay. I don't like Gibson. I like McKissick in this sort of role, but I still take Dalvin Cook here. I don't know if you guys would lean on this. It makes sense. The trade's not bad. I'll say that.
Josh, which side are you taking?
So the problem is, like, I think a lot of people are throwing Dalvin Cook into that elite tier of running back, and I'm not quite putting him there. He's not there for me. He's a little lower, but also Saquon Barkley's kind of like, that's the thing. It's the same situation with Saquon Barkley, but worse. He's in a worse offense. I have more concerns about him getting injured. Talent level, let's just say, is even. I put a little on Saquon's side. But I'm fine doing this trade. If you're desperate for a wide receiver, I still love Terry McLaurin.
My recommendation, Maybon, is you send in a follow-up to this with which receiver you would be playing instead of McLaurin. So if the upgrade is there from the receiver, I think it's a good deal in that regard. Otherwise, if it's just Dalvin and you came and play both guys or something like that, then I still refer to Dalvin. But let us know who your receiver would be. That'd be kind of cool.
I agree with you, Matt. Yeah.
We're going to try to run through the rest of these questions, make sure we get to them. Evan here says, I got Lamar and Andrews tonight. How are we feeling? That's a good stack to have.
I feel Thursday great night. About both of them.
Good.
They're both top options. Yeah. You should feel good too.
I traded Justin Jefferson and Chris Carson for Deontay Johnson and James Robinson. Thoughts? Beautiful. That is a beautiful trade. Deontay Johnson, Justin Jefferson. I would actually prefer Deontay Johnson rest of season, but same tier. And then James Robinson over Chris Carson, 1,000%.
Deontay Johnson in a PPR league, they're pretty much even for me. Justin Jefferson and Deontay Johnson. But yeah, James Robinson or Chris Carson all day.
Jared, Matt, we'll come to you on this one first. Tony and Dearness Johnson for Ayuk. Ayuk owner has Chubb, and he's out. We're saying he's out with COVID, everyone. He's not officially out for this weekend yet. I've been seeing lots of questions about that. Keep an eye on Chubb. He still has a chance to play Sunday, and it sounds like the Browns are optimistic that he will. But again, he's at the mercy of the testing.
It's a coin flip.
It's a coin flip. Yeah. So don't assume he's out. But Tony and Dearness for Ayuk. Matt, how do you feel about this one?
I like to use more leverage against him. I don't think Ayuk is enough to, if you're not playing Dearness Johnson this week, which is fine. Otherwise, I try and dangle. We're getting towards, the spot where people are like really getting desperate for wins. I'd like to be more cold-blooded about it personally. Otherwise, Ayuk, if you like to just see, if you think last week was Ayuk's coming back, the San Francisco offense is getting in gear, it's fine. But otherwise, I'd like to be more cold-blooded.
I think you bring up a good point, though. Even we don't have to look at it as being mean, but Dearness Johnson to that Chubb owner coming down the stretch of the season to the Chubb manager is a valuable asset, and you might be able to get something more than Ayuk.
Don't help people get wins. That's the thing. But, it might help the Chubb.
I'm not even sure if I want Ayuk over Kadarius Toney.
That's a great point. We're completely ignoring that side of it. We're just looking at Dearness.
I think I'd rather have Kadarius Toney on my bench. They're about even, so I'm not going to give up plus to get Ayuk.
Yeah. Oriel says, do you think I'm fine starting Mark Andrews, Marquise Brown, and Justin Tucker tonight? Yeah, I mean, unless you have Travis Kelce to start over Mark Andrews, then you're not just because they're on the same team playing in the same game on Thursday night. Don't get cute with the lineup. These guys are all studs that you want to play in your lineup. B King says bench one. We talked about this a little bit earlier, so I don't know if you heard us, B Kings. I believe Josh and I both agreed we would bench a Lamb, but now Matt's here, so we can get Matt's opinion on this. Which of these 4 wide receivers are you benching from B King's absolutely loaded wide receiver roster?
See, I think standard makes it a little bit different. I think I sit Pittman. I really like that Atlanta game. And I understand how good Pittman has been.
Yeah.
I'm just really not taking anything that had just happened in that Cowboy game into account. I'm just completely eliminating it from my memory.
I agree with you.
I go with the first 3 and sit Pittman, but a great spot to be in. You should probably be successful no matter what.
Yeah. F said, are you worried or excited for CMC in the remainder of the season? Excited. He's Christian McCaffrey. If he's playing, you're hyped.
I'm super excited.
Okay, so Josh disagrees. He is super excited, while Matt and I are just excited. So there's some disagreement there, Af. Hopefully take from that what you will.
He got so many snaps in his first week back. I don't know what Carolina is doing, man. Like, that was silly to see. He's amazing. He's the best player in fantasy.
As long as he stays healthy.
I feel like they probably didn't intend to, and they were like, oh, shit, it's Christian McCaffrey. Like, we got to give him the ball.
It feels so nice having him back out there. We can actually move the ball a little bit.
Yeah, 100 total yards. Then a pick 6 because they throw to Amir Abdullah in the red zone. Stupid team.
Vogel says Javonte Williams or Devonta Freeman at flex. Josh, where are you going on this one?
I would go with Javonte Williams. Hope it's a one of those games where you can break out and still split carries with Melvin Gordon, and have a good game.
I'm going Javonte Williams as well. Matt?
Yeah, I do too. If you're looking for you're looking for really scores, Freeman has a better shot to score than Williams, even though Williams is a much better player. So I think much better floor here for Williams. That's my pick.
Oriel says, do you think I made the right choice by trading Aaron Jones for CMC?
Yes.
I would much rather CMC rest of season.
Good job.
F says Mark Andrews or Kittle rest of season. So Matt, which of these tight ends do you prefer rest of season?
I personally hate the tight end 2
Debate
conversation. It's so dumb. It is the dumbest conversation. They're all good. They're all going to have better or worse weeks. We've seen it on rotation. Oh, it's Kyle Pitts rest of the season for tight end 2. Now it's Andrews. Now it's like it was Hawkinson early in the year. I think I got the better offense. I think so. I'm higher on Bateman because I'm higher on this Baltimore Ravens pass attack. I think it really gets unlocked this week going forward. I'm going to lean Andrews. Also, lower risk of getting re-injured because Kittle's a bad man.
Josh?
That's the whole thing. It's Kittle is a bad man. He runs hard, and he's shown a knack to get injured. So I do go Mark Andrews, scoring the second most fantasy points per game at the tight end position in PPR league, 15 fantasy points per game compared to George Kittle's 12.5. I love both these guys though, but I'll lean Andrews.
In any given week where they're both playing, I'll almost always pick Kittle. But if you're asking me rest of season, I'll pick Andrews for the injury concern reasons. Like if they are both active, I prefer Kittle. Yeah. But the injury concerns make me want to take Andrews rest of season because they're close enough. Guys, we are approaching the end of this. We've got about 10 minutes left. So let's try to rapid fire through these questions. Make sure we get to as much of them as possible. Carlos says, are we expecting another solid game from Connor this week? So are you guys expecting a solid game from James Conner?
More than a solid game. I'm expecting a very good game from James Conner.
Yeah.
He's I don't have him inside my top 12 or anything like that because it was just fair. San Francisco had no chance at stopping for some reason, but I think he's a very, very good play. I think I'm going to try and start him over like guys like James Robinson. I'm going to make that switch.
I'll start him over Leonard Fournette, Elijah Mitchell, Josh Jacobs, Darrell Williams.
So to answer Carlos, if you're starting him over those guys, he's a solid play this week. Absolutely. F wants to know, Terry has been so inconsistent. Do I sell Terry or keep rest of season, Terry McLaurin? So with the quarterback problems we were talking about a little bit earlier, I still like Terry McLaurin rest of season. The do I sell or do I keep is a tough one because it really depends. What are you getting in return? Like, does your team need a running back? Can you go get an Elijah Mitchell? Then I would love to trade Terry, but I've got no issues with playing him in my starting lineup rest of season.
Oh, yeah.
He's still a top 15 wide receiver for me.
Matt, we will come to you. So this week, I'm guessing this is a start question. Kyle Pitts or Pat Freiermuth?
It's tough picking against the number one tight end in back-to-back weeks and Pat Freiermuth. But it's Kyle Pitts. And Freiermuth, it's actually fun. I was talking about a few weeks ago. Like, they got him 7 targets before the bye, 7 targets coming out of the bye. He's a thing. He is a thing. This is not just, why do we talk about
drill?
Yeah, it's not like why do we talk about Freiermuth for a week and a half? No, he's a thing. But Kyle Pitts for me.
Do you know how happy I am that he's a thing? Do you know how many times we've been teased like, oh, this guy's going to be a thing. This guy's going to be a thing. Like Cole Kmet, every week starter. Oh, Adam Truman, every week it's coming. And now we get it. Pat Freiermuth, please.
Two rookie tight ends. Who would have thought?
Here's the thing. Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, Mark Andrews, George Kittle, TJ Hawkinson, Kyle Pitts. Then you can think about Pat Freiermuth.
Yeah, there's an elite 6.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm fully with Josh. There's an elite 6, and then there's about 8 guys that you could probably all argue deserve to be started next. Also, F, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. We are live every day, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. playing fantasy football games on the Fantasy Football Game Show. And then 2 days a week, right after that at 4:15 Eastern time, we're here doing nothing but answering your fantasy questions. And Josh hated that I said that. But we are here Tuesdays and Thursdays at that time answering your questions. And sometimes Matt jumps on to come answer some questions with us. And guys, before I forget, Matt jumped on in the middle of this stream to come answer questions for us. I want to remind everyone watching, if you have not done so already, go follow our buddy Matt on Twitter. He's on Twitter at Methodical1. It's right there below his name. He's an excellent follow, a redraft guru. He's a senior redraft analyst over at Gridiron Rating, expert ranker on Fantasy Pros, and great person, great follow, great analysis. So make sure you guys go and follow him over there. Our buddy, I don't know I know JL's on a first name basis with you. He just calls you 2-3. I don't know if we're there yet, so I'll go full name. 23423.
At least call him his full first name. 23423.
23423 is back in here. Beautiful name, by the way. Concerned about Elijah Mitchell this week. And that was supposed to be a question mark. So, Josh, I know you've been the highest on Elijah Mitchell of the people on our show. Are you concerned about Mitchell this week?
No. It's probably going to be pretty tough to find 2 running backs that you're starting over Elijah Mitchell. And actually, you might be concerned from his last week, but he actually showed some pass catching upside if they're in a negative game script. He had 5 catches, I believe 5 targets. So, if anything, I feel about the same as I did last week.
It's a tough matchup, but the targets last week were encouraging. I just am fingers crossed that it wasn't like an illusion or a one-game plan, and that they do hope to continue using him in that regard. But yeah, you're probably starting Elijah Mitchell. Matt, what do you think here?
I was worried about him last week because we need to see what's going on with Jeff Wilson, and then nothing happened with Jeff Wilson, so now I'm not worried.
No worries here. Should I start J.D. McKissick, Antonio Gibson, or Devonta Freeman half PPR? So Matt, unless you're saying Devonta Freeman, I believe you already answered this question. You would go J.D. McKissick, right?
Yeah, because Gibson, I think, should not be playing football anymore because he's getting hurt. He is hurt. He is playing hurt. That shin is not right, and it's affecting his play. And he's playing Tampa Bay, which is just a don't play rushing running backs against. It's either McKissick or neither Washington option. But that is my option in half PPR still. That's who I prefer.
I'm with you. And it is a sad day that they're both active and playing, and I want to start McKissick, but that's where I'm going here.
Yeah.
Gibson 200 total yards just incoming.
Gibson, I'm so sad. Come here now wants to know Bateman or Keenan Allen this
come
week.
on.
You found my burner.
It's
You said you're really high on Bateman this week, so
no, Bateman is right behind Renfro for a flex, but Keenan Allen's a top 7 guy for me. I like Bateman. I'm one of the highest rankers on Bateman. I probably am the highest ranker on Bateman.
Right behind Renfro.
Yeah,
I would assume so.
Yeah, but no, Keenan Allen. Him and Mike Williams are no longer on the same stratosphere. He is the alpha again for sure.
Oyel says Robert Woods or DeAndre Hopkins this week. So that is interesting with the DeAndre Hopkins trending towards out. There is a chance you don't even have to make this decision and that it's going to be Robert Woods for you. But let's assume Hopkins is playing. He is going up against a Carolina pass D that has been surprisingly good. You look at the Panthers, you don't think they've been great, but I believe they're giving up the 6th fewest points to opposing fantasy wide receivers. So would that be enough for you to start Robert Woods over DeAndre Hopkins this week, assuming they both play? Matt?
Yeah, you're going to probably know this by tomorrow. So with the Rams on Monday night, you're going to have all the information you're going to need. But Hopkins and Murray possibly not going to be playing again. I'd like to just take the safe points if I can with Woods, even with Hopkins active. If you had a worse option, it might be a different story. But Woods has been good, and we might have a last hurrah until OBJ.
One more hurrah. I'm going Woods as well. Josh?
Matt summed it up perfectly.
If there were no questions at all about DeAndre Hopkins or Kyler Murray, it would be Hopkins for me. But those questions, with an option like this, with Woods as your next option, you got to go that way.
Even if Kyler Murray wasn't playing and we knew DeAndre Hopkins was 100% healthy, I would start Hopkins over Woods this week. But
Unruly Drip wants to know thoughts on Ravens DST tonight.
They're a good DST.
Yeah,
they're a good DST. Not a must start.
No, they're outside my top 5. But they're inside my top 10.
Exactly.
Come here now. Beach 89 says, person at the bottom, are you concerned with Allen knee injury if he does not start? Is AJ Green a good start this week? So, man at the bottom. I want to change my name to that. That's amazing.
Man at the bottom.
Come here now. That was awesome. That just made this stream. Where would you go for this one?
I am not concerned right now. Here's the issue, right? Because I'm not someone who kind of makes my own calls. The NFL will let us know on these guys, and then you just have to digest that and just say, right now, I have no concerns on him. There is legitimate concerns with other guys going on in Arizona. Is AJ Green a good start? He's a better start. Has he been because he was also on the COVID list? Has he been reactivated for this week? Do we have?
Yeah, he's reactivated. Okay, AJ Green was reactivated.
Yeah. So AJ Green's a fine start because if you don't have Hopkins, but if you don't also have Murray, then I don't like that passing attack regardless. So Keenan Allen, yes, I don't have an issue at the moment because right now questionable tags on Wednesday and Thursday,
they don't mean much.
They don't really mean much to me. If they don't practice on Thursday and it's a Sunday game, that's a problem.
Yes,
but for the most part, just wait till Friday, make your decisions. If you have to make a between decisions a guy tonight and Sunday, it's a different story. But you could just hang out.
And that's that's a great point. 23423. This is about Elijah Mitchell. Yahoo notified me that he is questionable. Have my mouse over the drop line. Do not drop him. Don't overreact to the questionable tag.
Yeah,
He's a starting running back. You want him on your roster unless this is a 2-man league.
I hope we got to you quick enough.
You probably need it. Also, Joey said Javonte Williams, Antonio Gibson, or Devonta Freeman. I'm assuming we all say Javonte Williams, right?
Yeah, I'm a big Melvin Gordon guy. I just want to let everyone know that, and I still go Williams here.
I would start Melvin Gordon over Javonte Williams.
I would as well. I have been saying that every single week.
I've been waiting. I was the guy at the beginning of the season saying start Melvin Gordon now, but just wait. And you know what? I'm still just waiting.
Now it's cold outside.
We're gonna be waiting.
Yeah, it's not happening. It may not even happen next season.
It's gonna be great when we draft Williams like the second or third round next year. But right now, it's still, it's what it is. What it is.
And we got another Gordon guy in here. Says I'm a Gordon guy too.
Bottom guy and come here now guy.
Also, Matt, since you guys said you liked Eckler and Beasley for Tyreek and Mitchell, this was on the last show. I'd be getting the Tyreek side. Yes, I love that trade. It is definitely a downgrade from Eckler to Mitchell, but that's like a 1-tier downgrade in my mind. And then from Beasley to Tyreek, that is a 3 to 4 tier upgrade at wide receiver into that elite tier. Yeah, I'm taking the Tyreek and Mitchell side.
How are you talking about? It's a downgrade from Have you seen that Kansas City offense? Fun fact real quick. I am the lowest ranker on Patrick Mahomes this week, so I cannot wait for this to blow up in my face. I have him QB 12. Does that say anything about Tyreek Hill? No, but it does say a lot about Patrick Mahomes. Go to my Twitter and see all that. It's amazing.
I was looking at. Are you taking the Tyreek and Mitchell side of this trade?
I am for sure, but I'm just saying it should not, as bad as Mahomes has been. The other two guys have been still good.
I just want to say
my hands are right here. These are not me typing this.
They come here now, Beach 89 says you're so smart, bottom guy.
I just want to say, last show it seemed like I was the highest. I still am fine with this trade. I guess I slightly lean Tyreek and Mitchell, but it seems like I'm the closest here.
Yeah,
I think so. Eckler is the best part of this trade.
Oh, for sure. I agree with you that Eckler is.
It's not a slam dunk. It is definitely not a slam dunk. But as high as I am on Diggs, the remaining pieces for Buffalo can all kind of be interchanged. So,
yeah, I'm down on that. So we got one more question. Should I try to trade for Justin Jefferson, give Hurts and Deontay Johnson? I'm not doing that. It's close between Deontay Johnson and Justin Jefferson rest of season. I said earlier I'd prefer Deontay Johnson rest of season. So I'm definitely not doing this trade. Matt, what do you think here?
No, I don't really like trading guys. I think they're in the same tier regardless. And giving up Hurts is a little odd, unless you have like two quarterbacks and you really don't need Hurts. But I would aim just a little bit higher if I would.
Yeah. Maybe you could get let's see. What's higher than Justin Jefferson that you could get for Hurts and Deontay Johnson?
There's not much higher than Justin Jefferson.
Keenan Allen actually would be to me. I really like Keenan Allen quite a bit. But if you're looking, maybe some people would probably say AJ Brown right now.
Tyreek Hill, you could try, but yeah, I'm not sure I'm making this trade. I like Deontay rest of season. Also, come here now, Beach 89 said perfect voice for that, Simon. I try to read it how I think you said it. It's just all part of the process here. Also, and Scott said Jefferson squeaky wheel game this week. I didn't realize you were in here. I'm so sorry for all the things I said about Justin.
How squeaky can it get? I mean, he had 17 fantasy points last week.
He's going to get 100 is what Scott's calling for here.
Guys, he did have a 4-point game 2 weeks ago, which was by far his worst week of the season.
Before we go today, one more thing I want us to do. I want us all to give a prediction for tonight's game, the Ravens Dolphins Thursday night game. Okay, Josh, you are the Ravens fan here, so we will come to you first.
Let me get my.
I forget where your fandom lies. Is it I can't remember.
Yeah, whichever one you think it is. I hide my fandom. I actually keep it secret.
Is that why I can't remember? Is that why I don't know?
I try to be as
nice.
Yeah, no, it's the Falcons, but everyone, we're all in cahoots on this one. No one tell anyone.
This is a secret. Our lips are sealed.
We're all amongst friends here. I try to be impartial. So,
Josh, where are you going here?
The Ravens are winning this game.
That was the hot take.
I don't think that's that. It's not that shocking, right? It's not that shocking. I will say the final score will be 35 to 27.
I think it's going to be way lower scoring. I was looking at some of the Vegas lines before this. I saw someone post some interesting lines from this game. And for some reason, Vegas really, really has the passing and receiving numbers down for Baltimore.
Oh, no, the over. I'm saying that they'll cover the over. I'm taking the over in this game.
I'm going to lean a little bit lower scoring. I think the Ravens still come out on top in a slightly uglier game. And I will say 24-20 Ravens.
Yeah, I'm going like 27-13, and my hot take for this, I think Rashad Bateman scores north of 11.5 full PPR points, which is not a particular lot, but everyone else doesn't like the guy. So for 11.5 for someone that no one likes, we can push that 13.5, maybe go to 14 points or more. I like Bateman. I'll just say that I'm a big Rashad Bateman fan this week.
Guys, that is going to be it for Office Hours this week. We are out of here. A reminder, if you've not done so already, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to us on YouTube at Front Yard Fantasy. Like I said earlier, we are live every day, probably too much, every day at 3 p.m. playing the Fantasy Football Game Show. Then we do Office Hours here on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4:15 p.m. right after that. Come Here Now Beach said, thank you for the input, experts. I appreciate it. Let's go, Alan. Keenan Allen. Yeah, we will cheer for Keenan Allen. Also, Giggle said, wait, you caught us just in time. We got one more question. Carson or Gaskin this week? It's Gaskin for me.
Gaskin.
Yeah, I don't want to trust Carson right
Staying
now.
away from Carson.
Don't love Gaskin, but again, it's the Carson
it's up
neck
against
injury.
Carson. Guys, that is going to be it for Josh. Did you have something else?
Trading makes fantasy fun. And Scott, by the way, Justin Jefferson, only 9 targets the past 2 weeks combined. He's got a good point. Justin Jefferson's going to eat this week.
Oh, yeah, he's like my number 5 receiver. Like, I like the guy a lot. It's not like we don't like him.
Okay, and you're welcome, Giggles. Thank you for coming in with the question. Glad we could help. We are out of here, though, guys. We will see everyone tomorrow for the Fantasy Football Game Show. Come check it out. We're playing some Fantasy Spy. It is a fun game that we came up with. It's hidden information. There's stress, emotion. It's good TV. It's good TV. We're out of here until then, everyone. Adios.
Peace.